So, I think I finally have some time to talk about my birth experience. So, I had Rowan on July 2nd at 7:23 in the morning. I started having contractions July 1st, Thursday morning. I went in for a non-stress test on that morning, and she hooked me up and said that I was having some contractions. She could see them on her screen. So towards the end of the stress test, she asked me, do you want me to try to admit you right now? Do you feel okay to go home? Like, you're having these contractions. I was dilated to like a 2-3, she said. And I was feeling all right. I mean, yeah, they were contractions, but they felt like cramps, like period cramps. And so I went home, and Danny luckily had off that day. So I labored at home until about, he's waking up, so I might have to pause this. I labored at home till about 8:30 at night. So I was having contractions all day, and I took about 2 or 3 baths here, and Danny just kind of helped keep me comfortable. And as the day got on, the contractions got stronger. So at 8:30, we finally decided to head back to the hospital, and she said that she was going to check me to see like how dilated I was, to see if they were going to admit me. Well, I was dilated to, I think she said a 4 or 5. So I was admitted. And then from there, things got kind of crazy. So she took my vitals, and then I was allowed to go into the Whirlpool. Freaking awesome that they have a Whirlpool for laboring moms to use while they are at the hospital. So I used that, and I was in there for I think about 45 minutes, and then they had to pull me out and check my vitals again, check my dilation. I dilated to, when I was admitted, I was dilated at a 4, and then the first Whirlpool helped me dilate to a 5. And so I was having some contractions, and then some time passed, they got my vitals, and I was able to go back into the Whirlpool again. Well, the second time around was awful. It was awful. The first Whirlpool, I was chilling. I was breathing through my contractions. I was like, I got this. I can do this. Like, yes. And then the second Whirlpool was terrible. My contractions were getting so bad, so fast. I was on my hands and knees for most of it, and it was terrible. I didn't know that I was going to be able to get out of the Whirlpool because I was just breathing, and I didn't know that I could honestly move. It took my mom, Danny, and I think one of the nurses to help me get out of the Whirlpool the second time around. So they helped me get back to the room, got my vitals taken, and then I was dilated to a 6. So I kept breathing, pushing through it, and they decided to break my water because my water had not broke yet. So they broke my water. Well, the doctor that was on call, she was a midwife, actually didn't break my water all the way. And we didn't know that until about an hour after I started pushing. So I was pushing for about an hour, and she had only broke half of my water. My actual doctor, my OB, who I'd been seeing throughout my entire pregnancy, came in, I don't know, maybe around 6 a.m. and said, oh, half of her water isn't broke. I guess like the posterior part of my water wasn't broke, and I was pushing the whole time with half a broken water. And when I was pushing, I kept saying, I know I've never given birth before, but something doesn't feel right. I don't feel like I'm progressing. Well, I think it's because my water wasn't broke all the way. And had my actual OB been there, I think that the labor process, the actual pushing part, might have gone a little faster. And other than that, my water not breaking, his head, I'm pointing to him, he's over there sleeping. His head was ginormous. It was in the 90th percentile. And so they had to make an incision down there. And honestly, I don't even think that I felt that, because I was already feeling so much pain and all the hormones, you know, rushing through your body. And I did not have an epidural. I was dilated to a 9, and I know that I could not have gotten an epidural, but you know, I asked anyways, because at that point, that's like the worst. That's like the worst part, is the transition phase, which is when you're dilating from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. And that 8 to 9 mark is awful. Well, it was awful for me. And I didn't ask for an epidural till I got dilated to a 9. And I asked anyways, even though I know that they couldn't give me one, because it was a lot. It was a lot to have a almost 10-pound baby coming out. Is a lot. I had tried I tried all the positions that they could think of, and yeah, he just was not coming out. So he had to make the incision, and then once he did, I pushed a few times, and then boom, he was here. So I think that, you know, I'm happy that my labor, that I'm healthy, that I stayed healthy. I almost hemorrhaged, but you know, baby's healthy, so that's all that matters. It was quite the experience, and I just remember afterwards, my body was shaking so bad, and one of the it was a very traumatic experience for me. When he came out, they put him on my chest, my IV got ripped out of my hand, so they had to give me a shot, you know, or like an injection for what was going into my hand. It was I think Pitocin. So they gave me an injection of that. My IV got ripped out. He was, you know, stitching me up down there. I had this baby on my chest. It was a lot. It was hectic. I was the only one in like actual like pushing labor at the time, so I had the entire OB department in there, and that was really cool because well, I did get my IV ripped out, and that sucked. It was nice to have everybody around and, you know, coaching me through it. Like, you can do this, you can do this. Like, I had, I think 5 or 6 nurses, doctors, midwives in there, like all at the same time. And that was freaking awesome. Once they laid him on my chest, it felt like a fog lifted from my brain. A lot of the labor process kind of, I don't remember a lot of it. So a lot of it is what Danny told me, what my mom was telling me. I do remember some things, but it's so weird. It's so weird how your body and your brain just kind of like shut off and kind of go into this mode of, okay, get this baby out. And then you're so focused on that once you have the baby and he's laying on your chest, it's like, oh, okay, here we are. Oh my gosh, you were just inside of me. And especially when I was like, this baby is huge. I have no idea how he fit in here and coming out. I have no idea. The body is insane, and it's still surreal to me that I have a little one. And he's awesome, and I love him, and it's the best thing ever. Don't get me wrong, the sleep deprivation and trying to figure him out as a person is quite a bit. There's stresses with all of it, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I ended up staying 2 nights for a few reasons. But I would honestly say, I know this is only my first, but if you're an expecting mom, first time expecting mom, if you can afford to take 2 days, take the 2 days, take the 2 nights, because one, to recover, and to have somebody who will wait on you hand and foot is awesome, especially for me, because the downstairs, getting out of bed with those stitches and all that was hard. So sometimes I had to call for help. And just what I learned from the nurses from being there for 2 nights is invaluable. Learning about latching and breastfeeding and changing and swaddling, and just the amount of knowledge that I got from the nurses was great, and they were awesome. I hope that every woman can have the awesome nurses, that as awesome of nurses as I did, because that honestly I feel like would make or break the experience of delivering in a hospital. The nurses were just great. The whole OB department was awesome, and we made it. I did it. It's done. I'm not pregnant anymore. It's great to be able to breathe normally, and it's cool. This whole given life thing, birthing, caring for a little human that I grew, is insane. It's the trippiest thing of my life, and so far it's going pretty good. One more thing I wanted to add, I don't know when I'm going to put this in the video, but I wanted to say that I am personally really, really, really glad that I went to a hospital for my birth, for my labor. I know that a lot of women are starting to do home births and water births and going to like birthing centers, and but I personally am really glad that I went to the hospital, because I don't think I would have made it. I don't think he would have made it had I not gone to the hospital and gotten the extra help from everybody, the whole department. It was a scary thing for me. It was a very, very empowering, but a very terrifying experience for me. And I give props to all women who do home births and water births and all that. I would just say to expecting first-time moms to do what feels right to you. Don't feel pressured to do a home birth. Don't feel pressured to go to the hospital. Do what feels right for you. And I just had to say that and get that out there, because I know in the beginning I had a few people talking to me about doing a home birth, but I'm really glad that I did not. Personally, for me, it's a personal experience. Pregnancy, labor, it's all very, very, very personal, so do what feels right for you. Just had to throw that out there. So if you watched all of this, thank you for watching. And for my clients, I miss you and I love you guys, and I will see you in a few months, because I am taking as much time as I can, because he's only this small for so little, and the time is already flying. I can't believe it's already been 4 weeks, and I'm just now making this video. Yeah, thank you.